Okay, just want to tell you the last thing that I really liked from your article, because I've never seen this before either. I'm wondering, is this one of yours? Proof of force?
Yeah, that was, so I've seen people describe it as proof of violence.
Proof of violence.
Yeah. Because if you, for example, I quoted Moser in there. He's he kind of created MMT, or kind of revitalized an older form of analysis called chartalism, the idea that money is kind of, issued by the government. And if you look at his quotes about how the money system works, it is essentially proof of violence, proof of the ability to exert force over someone. And that sounds extreme. But of course, different jurisdictions, that means different things. So even in a relatively benign country, there's, you have to pay your taxes usually in that country's currency. And if you don't, you either get a knock on the door by people with guns, or you have to leave, right? And so it's like, if you want to be involved in that system, you have certain obligations to that system. And so that's how, because one of the ways I want to describe it was, so we had this whole multi-thousand-year history of commodity money, and the harder and harder monies kept winning out over softer and softer monies until you ended up with gold. And then the question was, how did gold lose to paper, right? How did it lose to paper? Because it was the only kind of downgrade in human history where you went to softer money globally. And it's like, how did that happen? And it's like, well, it's because it was enforced. It's something that it either gets really blatant, like in the United States, where they literally said Americans cannot own gold under threat of 10 years of imprisonment, which is kind of insane if you think about it today. Or just more subtle things like, okay, you want to hold gold, we're going to tax every time you use it, right? So it's no longer money, it's no longer legal tender. We're going to tax it every time you want to transfer it. We're going to treat it like a stock or something like that. Even in some cases worse than a stock, higher capital gains, long-term capital gains taxes than a stock. And so it kind of makes it just inherently more friction to use. And through those various measures, you can enforce the use of a fiat currency. You can say this is the only thing you can pay your taxes with, and moving around every other type of asset is a taxable event. And so that's how those systems have been able to survive for decades.
Well, I love proof of force. I think we need to meme that into existence as a common term for attributed to CBDCs, which versus proof of work, I think is an easier way for people to understand why it's a better form of money.